and goes, oh no, what are you doing? You've got that disc in the bloody vise. Yeah, that's scrap. So I don't care what happens to that. But I'm trying to get this disc undone. And it is like everything else, it is mongrel tight. Oh, gotcha. I've been on it with a rattle gun and it would not shift with a rattle gun. So to make things a little bit easier, so I just want a bit more leverage. All right, so this should just crack pretty easy now. There we go. Just need that extra bit of leverage. Mongrel tight. You beauty. Okay, so they're all undone. I found with this 80 series, with this car, the front end, if there's something that is possibly going to be worn and need replacing, it is. And I need to replace every wearable part. So I'm waiting on parts to turn up, so I'm going to do what I've got. I've already done the other disc, and it was a prick to get apart. So I'm just going to get in there with a jimmy bar, or a cold chisel in this case, and just get in there and give it a tap. There we go. Should come out now, maybe. All right, so that's loose. There we go. So that's out. That's junk. Right, so before I put the new disc on, I might as well give this a bit of a clean up. Let's get all the crap out. Try and get all the crap out. Well, that'll do that for the time being. I'm putting new wheel bearings in this, and I'm going to knock out the bearing cones. Oh, I call them cones. Maybe that's not the right word. I don't want that in there tight, but I don't want it sitting on the pins either. So if we have a look inside here, hopefully we can see, there's some cutouts in there. I'm just going to tap that out with a cold chisel. That's coming. There we go. There's one bearing. That's the outer, and now we'll do the inner, and it's just the same deal. Got the same cutouts. And there's the other ones out. I suppose next thing is give that a bit of a clean out. I don't want crap in there. I want where these new races are going to be nice and spotless clean. I'll even get some spray onto that. Like you can use parts cleaner. I'm using degreaser. Don't need a lot. Just enough to help break up the crud, clean the crap out of the grooves, so that the new bearing race will go in. Well, not the bearing race, it's the backing, whatever it is. I can't remember the name of the bloody thing. But that's nice and clean. And we'll do the same on the other side. And there's already some degreasers gotten down in there, so we'll give that a wipe up. I'm really over all this crud that's sitting on everything that's got anything to do with this vehicle. It's covered in crud. So, bit of degreaser, and I'll let that sit for just a little bit. I'll come back and clean it off. Alright, so that's been sitting for about 15 minutes. I'll just give it a bit of a clean up now. Just hold that a little bit tighter. I'm not going to make it perfect, but I'm going to make it damn sight better than it was. Plus around here, this is where the new disc is going to sit. So I want that to be nice and clean too, so that we don't get stupid amounts of run out on the disc because the disc's not sitting square. All right, we'll get some new some new wheel bearings for that. So I've got a new outer seal, that'll go in there. Got my new bearings, Koyo bearings. Apparently they're a reasonable sort of bearing. There we go, so there's our brand new bearings. It's been in the freezer for about 15 minutes. I use my 81mm driver. There's my smackometer, there it is. And we just smack it in. Trying to make sure it goes in nice and square. Which it's not. Damn. There we go, that's better. And you can hear the change in the sound of the smack. That's bottomed out. That one's there ready to go. I've got the other side. Which is in the freezer still, so I'll just go and get that. Make that a little bit narrower. I just want to make that a little bit cleaner. Yep, that's spot on. 72mm. So we just repeat that process. Now, before we install the bearing, I'm going to pack the bearing. To do that properly, basically you get a handful of grease and it'll work the grease in until it starts popping up. See, it's starting to pop up through the top of the bearings here. Then we'll move around to the next bit and we just keep working it around like that until the whole race is done. And there we go, that's done. I'll just coat the whole thing nicely now in nice icky blue grease. And drop it in. That's the inner bearing, and I've got to put a seal on top of that. So I'll get rid of these greasy gloves. And there we go. Grease nicely contained in the gloves. That goes in there. We'll get on top of that with the 81mm and we'll smack that in. Same method. Bloody good chance that I'm going to damage this seal. And knockometer. Whoa, that didn't go square. Damn. It's not what I wanted, but it will do the trick. There we go. Now that's in and seated. Just get a little bit of grease. Just grease that rubber seal ever so slightly. That hub's ready to go back on. Alright, there we go. So this is the new disc. Brand new disc rotor. There we go. According to Manuel, it is 54 foot-pounds. So we'll go up to, where are we? Here we go. So 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 54 foot-pounds. I really need to get onto the disc. So let's see if I can do this. Okay, so there we have it. We've got our nice new disc, new inner bearings installed. So before I install this back on the car, it's going to be a little while yet because I need some parts. We'll pack out inside with grease. We'll insert the new bearing, the new outer bearing. We'll have that nicely packed in grease, which is just sitting in the packet staying nice and clean at the moment. So that's all I can do on this hub at this point. So on to the next bit. All right, so this is the front diff after it's had a bit of a clean. I haven't pulled it apart, and at this stage I don't want to pull it apart. What I have done to it, I've given it a pretty thorough clean, sprayed it out as much as I can, cleaned it up as much as I can. Now what I have done though is I've set the preload on the pinion. Oh, that's what I haven't done yet. I've got to restake the nut. I've also set the backlash, which is set exactly as it should be. I really don't want to do anything to this diff right now because I want to put a locker in it, and if I can get away without pulling it apart and rebuilding it and then having to pull it apart and rebuild it again, then I will. If I put it in and shits the bed, well, then I'll just have to put a bearing kit through it. I think it's going to be okay though. I do have to replace these stub axle spindles. The grooving in here, I don't know if we can see that very well. Hopefully you can, but there's some nasty grooving in there which my fingernails catching in. I don't know how deep it is, but I reckon it's way too deep, and it's just going to be a waste having put new seals in, because they'll just start leaking on that and I'll end up with exactly the same problem. So I'm replacing 2 of them. I'm going to reuse my original CV joints. They are not in the greatest of condition, but they'll do for the time being. Something I'm having an immense amount of problems with is getting these tie rods. But these tie rods are in so friggin' tight. I just cannot get them out. So I've given them a few squirts, and I'm gonna keep this one up vertical now for a bit. Hopefully some of this will get in there and penetrate. I'm gonna leave that overnight. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get that out. If I can't make it move, I'm probably going to have to use some heat. Heat up the tube just slightly. Hopefully it'll come out like that. I don't really want to heat up the tube. I don't want to take the risk of annealing it and making it go soft. But anyway, that's where we're up to. Give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, smack the subscribe button. Drop us a comment. If you've got any suggestions about how I'm working or what I can do better on this A series build, yeah, by all means let me know. All right, we'll catch you next time. Have a great day, have a great week. Bye.